I was 7 the night the ceiling turned orange and the world smelled like a blown-out candle and gasoline. People in gowns ran like birds in a storm glass popping under their shoes, a violin still playing a wrong note somewhere in the smoke. It was the Hale Foundation Gala. Big money, big names, the kind of party where folks pretend they can't see the dishwashers until fire made everybody equal. I heard the baby before I saw the flames. A thin cry way up the staircase, cutting through the shouting. Lily, someone yelled, and a man in a tux. Brandon Hale, the tech billionaire on the posters, lunged for the stairs. His new wife Sloane latched onto his arm like a seatbelt. "Don't be stupid," she hissed, nails in his suit. "You'll burn alive. Let the professionals handle it." Everyone backed away from the heat like the flames might ask for tips. I didn't ask anyone anything. I dropped the tray I was bussing my mama, shouting my name behind me, and I ran. If fear is a door, I didn't open it. I ducked into the stairwell where the smoke hugged the ceiling like a black river, tucked my dress over my mouth, and crawled low like Grandma taught me. Keep to the floor, baby. The clean air is down where the truth lives. The carpet singed my palms. The banister spat sparks, and that cry so small, so angry at the world, pulled me up one step at a time. The nursery door was hot enough to bite. I used my skirt to twist the knob, shoulder checked it open, and there she was. Red-cheeked fists, pumping like she was fighting the fire herself. I wrapped Lily in a blanket, dunked the edge in a cup of water, pressed her to my chest. "It's okay," I lied. Voice all gravel, "I got you." The hallway behind me went animal beams, groaning paint bubbling like it was breathing. The staircase. Gone, just a river of flame. So I went for the little window by the crib, shoved it open. Cold air slapped my face and stuck my head out. "Down here." Brandon's voice boomed from the lawn, hoarse, desperate, like the word father learning itself in real time. I held Lily out and saw only hands and fear. Then his arms caught his daughter with the kind of care that makes you understand what people mean by sacred. I had time to take one breath that didn't taste like a tire. Then the ceiling cracked. I tried to climb through dress, caught on the latch. A beam dropped and the room turned into a mouth closing. "Jump!" Brandon shouted. Sloane. She stood 10 yards back. Perfect hair, perfect gown, eyes like a locked door. I felt my mama's voice reach through the heat. Amaya and I went. The world fell out from under me, and then didn't. Brandon caught me, knees buckled, but he held. Lily cried. I laughed or coughed, hard to tell. People clap the way they do when a plane lands in a storm, like they're thanking the sky. Sloane stepped forward, smile sharp as a blade. "Reckless," she said, loud enough for the lawn to hear, dragging a baby through smoke like that she could have killed her. Brandon turned on her like a storm turning on a boat. "She saved our daughter." The firefighters barreled in, and one of them muttered what I'd already smelled: accelerant. Sloane's face didn't twitch, but something behind her eyes did, like a light turning on in a room you shouldn't see. At the hospital, everything was white and humming. Lily went one way, I went another. Mama held my hand with both of hers like she could keep me from slipping back into the fire. Brandon floated between rooms, a man whose brain was still stuck in a burning house. He came to my bedside and thanked me like he'd run out of words and was borrowing mine. "You're just a kid," he whispered, and I shrugged because 7 is ancient when you've already watched a kitchen go up, smoke hugging the ceiling, your real mother pushing you out the back door and not coming through after. Sloane showed up in a cream coat and a voice full of glass. "Brandon," she said, glancing at my oxygen mask like it offended her, "don't exhaust yourself over someone else's problem." Mama stood. "That someone else saved your child," she said, soft but cutting. Sloane's mouth smiled, her eyes didn't. The fire investigator came by with that heavy news voice. Not an accident spread too fast, placed just right. Brandon went very still. Grief has weight. Suspicion has heat. Later that night, I woke to a whisper bleeding through the vent, Sloane's cadence clipped and mean. "It wasn't enough," she said, like she was talking about a tip. "Finish it tomorrow. He's distracted. Do it at the hospital." My heart tapped against the mask. Mama was asleep in the chair, and I could only point weakly at the ceiling when she stirred. "Hush now," she said, stroking my hair. "You're safe." But safety is a word adults use to keep from drowning. Around midnight, a man in a hoodie slipped into my room like bad luck. He went for the wires. The beeping changed its mind. Before I could scream, Brandon filled the doorway. Wet coat fists, a promise in human form. "Step away from her," he said, voice low like thunder over a highway. The man sneered, made it 3 steps, then met a wall named Brandon. It wasn't pretty. It didn't have to be. "Security ran," Mama cried, and I watched a grown man grab another by the front of his jacket and speak father fluently. "If you come near this child again," he said, steady as a heartbeat, "you disappear." The guy looked past him at Sloane standing in the hall, and I watched a secret pass between them like a match. The next day, a construction guy found Brandon out by the loading dock and said what he couldn't live with anymore. He'd seen Sloane before the fire back entrance canisters, a man with gloves and a promise of cash. Brandon didn't say anything. He drove to a riverfront warehouse where rain made the tin roof hiss. He looked through a broken window and heard Sloane's real voice. "No excuses," she snapped at 2 men leaning over a map. "The kid who grabbed the baby problem, eliminate it." The cigarette smoke curled up like a prayer for bad people. Brandon didn't kick the door. He left with something uglier than proof, a new understanding of the person sleeping in his house. He came back to the hospital different. Not louder, not meaner, quieter, like a wire pulled tight. Sloane met him in the family lounge with a magazine smile. He didn't sit. "You tried to kill my daughter," he said, plain as a grocery list. The air shook. She laughed the mean kind. "Don't be dramatic," she purred, circling him. "We both know you built an empire without me. Why shouldn't I build one without obstacles?" "She's a baby," he said. "And that little bus girl?" Sloane tilted her head. She was supposed to be a footnote. The room went colder than an empty church. Cops came. Brandon handed them an address written on a grease-smudged scrap, told them what he'd heard, who almost died. Sloane stayed beautiful and bored while they cuffed her, then broke character on the way down the hall. "You'll regret this," she spat loud enough for the nurses. Maybe she meant him. Maybe she meant me. When Lily was finally breathing without the mask, Brandon brought her across the hall. She was smaller than the fire had made her sound, hair sticking up in brave little storms. He eased her onto my bed, asked me the question that had been eating him. "Why'd you go?" I looked at him like he'd missed the point. "Because she cried." I said, voice still smoky, "and nobody should have to cry alone." Something in his face rearranged itself. He kissed Lily's head, then touched mine like vows can be made with hands. "You'll never be alone again," he said. And the way Mama exhaled like she'd been holding her breath since the first spark told me, promises can be oxygen. People ask me, did Brandon adopt you? Did the Hales put your mama in a big house with a porch and quiet? Did Sloane's lawyers spin gold out of ash? Here's what I tell them. Judges love evidence. Juries love babies. And truth loves open air. The warehouse gave the cops what they needed. The internet did what it always does with a villain in a red dress. Sloane learned that prison orange isn't a fashion risk, just a number. But the part I replay is smaller and louder the moment after everything. When Brandon stood between our 2 rooms, shirt wrinkled, hair messy, and looked like a man with 2 daughters, one by blood, one by fire. He didn't ask permission from a board. He didn't poll his investors. He chose. Not the gala version of family, the smoky, coughing, eyes-stinging version, where love is a verb with burned hands. I still bust tables some weekends. Old habits, honest cash. But sometimes a woman stops me and says, "Aren't you?" And I shake my head because I'm not a headline or a clip on a feed. I'm the kid who heard a cry and went where the rich heels wouldn't. I'm the daughter of a woman who once shoved me through a door and took the heat for it. I'm the girl who learned that fear is real, and so is running through it. So tell me, what would you have done with the smoke in your mouth and everybody shouting different kinds of advice? Save yourself. Wait for help. Don't make waves. Do you believe money makes heroes, or does a 7-year-old with scorched palms get a say? Drop your take in the comments. Who was right? Who was wrong? What's justice look like when power plays with matches? And if you've ever watched someone get underestimated and then rewrite the whole room, I want to hear that story too. Hit. Like if you felt that stare under your knee with me, subscribe. If you believe family is something you do not, something you inherit, because nights like that aren't rare. They're just usually quieter, and somebody needs to tell them out loud.